Hi guys, this is going to be a motorcycle adventure ride through the Skyline Blue Ridge mountain range. This is myself. I'm on my Honda NC750 and I got my good friend Richard here on his BMW GS 1200. We're going to be entering the Shenandoah National Park, which is the start of the Skyline Drive. Our adventure started on April 29th, 2016 in a small town called Sherbrooke, Quebec, Canada. Which is our hometown. Sherbrooke is a small town with roughly 150,000 population. Exactly, it's about 160 kilometers southeast of Montreal. It basically took us 2 days of riding going through 5 states: Vermont, New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, to get to the beginning of the Skyline. Total for those 2 days, we're talking about 1,180 kilometers. If some of you are like me wondering what's the difference between the Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway, the Skyline Drive goes through the Shenandoah National Park. That's pretty well the biggest difference. The Skyline Drive is 105 miles long going through the park. We're looking at roughly 170 kilometers. Whereas the Blue Ridge Parkway is longer. That one doesn't go through the park at all. It's just, they call it the Parkway. One of them is called Parkway, the other one's called a Drive. For me, it's the same road. The only difference is one's going through the park. The other one is once you're through the park, it just continues. The distance of the Blue Ridge Parkway, we're looking at 469 miles. That relates to 750 kilometers. One thing also to know is that when you're going to enter the park, there is a cover fee of $15 per motorcycle. In a car is a $20 cover charge fee. Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway is one of the most scenic drives in the world. Skyline Drive alone has 75 overlooks where you can stop and just enjoy wildlife and nature. One thing we can recommend is try to go probably in May, because what we're hearing is that in June, July, August, probably even in September when the color changes, there's a lot of traffic. As you can see our video, there's not that much traffic. 1672, the Iroquois Confederation claimed the whole valley of Shenandoah for their hunting grounds. There was also a smaller band of Indians called the Shawnee who settled in with them. Later on, the Cherokee came in. They came around after 1721. But later, the Iroquois sold all of their entire claim to the Virginia colony at the Treaty of Lancaster in 1744. National Park, 80,000 acres of wilderness and protected area. The protected part is part of the National Wilderness Preservation System. The highest peak is Hawksbill Mountain at 1,235 meters. If you look at a distance in the foreground, you'll see a rock mountain formation. Now, some of these rocks exposed in the park date over 1 billion years old. Now, that's pretty damn amazing when you think about that, 1 billion years old. Time for a water break. Shenandoah National Park was established in 1935. Much of the area was farmland, and there are still remnants of old farms in several places. At least 500 homes in 8 Virginia counties were affected. Most of the families came from Madison County, Page County, Rappahannock County, and nearly 90% of the inhabitants worked in the land for a living. Although a terrible drought in 1930 affected many of the nearby apple orchards, most of the people still wanted to stay. They were opposed to leaving, actually. Eventually a compromise was reached, with some families were allowed to stay after their properties were acquired. They lived in the park until they died. One of them was Annie Lee Bradley. She was 92, died in 1979. Blue Ridge Parkway has a total of 26 tunnels. Most of these tunnels are within the last 100 kilometers of the Blue Ridge Parkway. As I said earlier, the Blue Ridge Parkway is 755 kilometers long, and most of these tunnels were dug because of the rugged terrain in this particular area. So these 26 tunnels are really the last 100 kilometers. So as you can see, we're getting to the end of the Blue Ridge Parkway. rugged terrain of the Blue Ridge Parkway of North Carolina required the majority of the tunnels. Most of the tunnels digging was done by hand and was provided by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 30s. Little machinery was used with the intent for manual labor during the Great Depression. Some of the tunneling was done with the machinery, although they did have a few air drills called jumbos. After the initial holes were drilled in the substrata, dynamite was used for blasting away the rock. Due to tunnel cave-ins, concrete lining was done during construction. The concrete lining was first used at the Devil's Courthouse tunnel. It was later discovered that the lighting within the tunnel was enhanced when using the concrete. When done, there was about a quarter thickness of the interior structure which was lined with concrete. Additional benefit was to eliminate moisture entering the tunnel. Moisture in winter also caused ice problems. The Pine Mountain Tunnel is the longest on the parkway at 1,434 feet or 437 meters long. Here we are at the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Our campsite is called the Outmount campsite. We're drying out our stuff from the night before. Of course, you can tell we did have some rain the night before. Temperatures hovering around 5 degrees Celsius, which was pretty cold for a third of May 2016. So we're drying out our stuff, and we're just going to head on out and check out the national park. This national park, compared to the other park, you'll remember I was telling you the Shenandoah National Park was 80,000 acres. The Great Smoky Mountain National Park here, we're looking at 525,000 acres, so that's a lot of room to have some fun. The Great Smoky Mountain National Park is part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and is also part of the Blue Ridge Mountain, which is also a division of the larger Appalachian Mountain chain. For those of you who don't know, the Appalachian Mountain runs all the way from Maine to Georgia, and that covers a distance of about 3,500 kilometers long. Last year alone, in 2016, the park received over 11.3 million visitors, which is pretty impressive. What's amazing about the Great Smoky Mountain National Park is how green and lush everything is. That's due to the fact that it does receive 2,200 millimeters of rain per year. This is more annual rainfall than anywhere else in the United States outside the Pacific Northwest and parts of Alaska and Hawaii. Driving through here, it really looks like we're driving through the Amazon jungle. It's really amazing, so if you do get a chance, you must come down and check it out. For all you bird lovers out there, there are over 200 species of birds, about 50 species of fish, 39 species of reptiles, 43 species of amphibians, including many lungless salamanders. The park is well known for its black bear population with about 1,500. By the way, a little anecdote is my friend Richard, the night before at the campground, went for a walk around the campground and came face to face with a black bear. So what he did is you look at the bear straight in the eye and back off slowly, and you return home and you talk about it. 1976, the park was designated an International Biosphere Reserve, and it was also certified in 1988 as UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's part of the Southern Appalachian Biosphere Reserve. The highest mountain peak in the park is known as Klingman's Dome at 2,025 meters high. Here's my good friend Richard enjoying the view while taking a break. Now there's a happy camper. Yeah, I'd like to apologize for the quality of this part of the video. As you can see, there's quite a bit of camera shake. Unfortunately, when I install the camera, I changed cameras due to the fact my other camera, the battery was dying out, so I replaced it. Unfortunately, I didn't snap it on tight enough, and that's why we got some camera shake. Sorry about that, guys. Here we are at the beginning of Deals Gap. It's right on the Tennessee-North Carolina state line. This is a well-known, renowned place. It's world's foremost motorcycling and sports car touring road. It's known as the Tail of the Dragon. Some call it the Dragon, some call it the Tail of the Dragon or the Dragon's Tail. It's on US 129. You guys, if you're down here, you must not miss this. You got to try it out. There's 318 curves on an 11-mile road. So here we are off, just going and try to do it as best as we can. Of course, we're doing probably first, second, and third gear. Speeds are probably running from between 40 to 60 miles an hour. There's not much room to gain much more speed unless you got a super bike, but I mean, we're just doing it for fun. So I hope you enjoy this part of the video. What's really great about this Tail of the Dragon Road is that there are houses, no houses with driveways, no businesses. That's really great because no cars are going to pull out in front of you. Each and every curve is different. There's very little elevation change. Many of the curves are banked like a racetrack. Just watch out for a few twists that are off camber and several that are decreasing radius curves, so just watch out for that, guys. Here we're doing a little bit of peg scratching, so that's pretty fun. And what's really also pretty nice is that my friend is up front of, as you can see, he's on his BMW GS 1200. and I'm right behind him, so I'm pretty happy with my NC 750. So it's a pretty good motorcycle in low torque situations, so I'm keeping up with the BMW. That's pretty fun. Some of Dragon's sharpest curves have names like Copperhead Corner, Hogpen Bend, Willy Hell, Shade Tree Corner, Mud Corner, Sunset Corner, Gravity Cavity, Beginner's End, and Breaker Bus Bend. The road earned its name from its curves being said to resemble a dragon's tail. Yeah, the time it took us to do the whole tail of the dragon, we did it pretty well conservatively. It took us 15 and a half minutes to do the 11-mile, 318 curves. The record holder, the person's name is Jared Barnes. So he's got the record. Apparently the record is probably half of what we've done as far as timing, so I think it's under 7 minutes. You can check out, you can find him on YouTube, do US 129 Dragon Slayer, and you'll find his video. Yeah, I would like to dedicate this video to a good friend of mine and neighbor, Francois Goyette, who passed away in 2012 on his Harley Davidson bike. He leaves behind 3 beautiful daughters and his wife Annie, so I'd like just to dedicate this video to him. I couldn't pass without showing you this last video. We met these couple of ducks down in South Carolina while we were on our drive back up north. We stopped in this campsite, and these 2 ducks just adopted us, and we call this guy Charlie, the happy wagging tail duck. I mean, this guy looks like a mixture between a rooster and a duck, but he was the most friendly duck we met, so here's to our friend Charlie. My name is Pascal Baldini, and I hope you like this video. Thanks, guys.